University. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this press conference, where we have the wonderful news, the wonderful opportunity to introduce the next head coach of Georgia State men's basketball, Coach Rob Lanier. I'm really excited about what he's going to do for this basketball program. But to be honest with you, I'm most excited what he's going to do for the young men that become part of Georgia State basketball. And this coach, we've got a person that's not only a great basketball coach, but a great person, and will do a lot for these young men to develop them as people, develop them as students, and develop them as athletes. So it's a really exciting time for Panther basketball. We've enjoyed much success, and we look forward to the future success with Coach Lanier. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Charlie Cobb, Director of Athletics, to say some words as we give the coach the opportunity.
Morning. We're a little bit late. I got locked in the stairwell, so I apologize. You never realize sometimes when you need your keys. But I want to welcome Mark's words of welcome. It's an exciting day for us within the Georgia State family. I think first and foremost, what I'd really like to do is thank Ron and Amy and RJ and Jasmine Hunter for their service to the university. I think everybody in this room knows what coaching the family means to us. I also want to thank the assistant coaches. I'm going to list them all as I can recall. Ray McCallum, Paul Pardue, Eric Sullivan, Daryl LeBerry, Sharman White, Sean Mock, plus their support staff, Nate Summers, Danica Johnson, Nick Majerick, and Jake Mangle for all their service and leadership of our basketball program. And my time at Georgia State was an unbelievable group of people and an opportunity for us to develop a really first-class program. Clearly, through their collective efforts, our basketball program is much better than they found it. And that's, I think, the courage and the opportunity we all have is to find something to make it better than where we found it. To the guys on our team, I can't thank you guys enough for who you are as people, for who you are as young men. Certainly change is an awesome opportunity. It comes with a lot of courage. And throughout this process, Mark and I talked a lot, and really the piece for us was to find a coach who with his staff can continue to help you guys develop as players, but also develop as young men. And without question, we're pretty excited about having Rob Lanier and his family join the Panther staff. I'll let Rob introduce his family, but he understands success. He understands total player development, and he's committed to providing a first-class transformational experience for our kids. And I think that among itself is really the clearly defining point as we went through this process. We did a lot of background, we did a lot of interviewing, and really excited about how Rob shared a vision with us on what he thinks our basketball program is about. And I think it's a collective vision, frankly, that everybody in this room understands and appreciates. But because of his commitment to total player development, I think we're very excited. We're in a better place than we were 2 weeks ago in terms of not having a coach, and really excited and honored to introduce Rob Lanier as our next men's basketball coach. Thank you.
Wow, this is awesome. Thank you, Dr. Becker. Thank you, Charlie. Friday, we played the NCAA tournament on a Thursday, and then Friday I was driving back with my family, and I got a call from my agent, Will Reese. I think Will is in here, and they said that would I like to meet with Charlie and Mark on that Monday. And I didn't know much about Georgia State, but I knew Ron Hunter, I knew Ray McCallum, I knew the success that was taking place in the program. So I knew at the very least there was a winning culture here, and that was attractive. Saturday goes by, Sunday goes by, Monday I meet with these people, and I think we've all had this experience where you're trying to describe something to someone, and then all of a sudden the best you can do is say, you know it when you see it. And I was looking for something, and people have always said to me, do you want to be a head coach again, and what would it take for you to leave Tennessee? And in my effort to describe that, the best I could come up with is, I'm going to know it when I see it. And on that Monday, within 15 minutes of sitting down with Charlie and Dr. Becker, I saw what I was looking for. I saw an energy, a progressiveness, and a vision that matched my own. I know we're in a great conference. I know we got a winning program, but I want more. Now, today, because this is a press conference and I'm being named as the head coach, is about me. But I promise you that after today, it will not be about me. It will be about these young men and the young men that come into the program. It'll be about their growth, their development, and a standard that I don't know if it's new to them or not, but it's going to be high in every regard. From a competitive standpoint and from an individual growth standpoint, the standards are going to be very high. When people play against us, they're going to know we play hard. They're going to know that. That's going to be the reputation for every team we face throughout the league and throughout our schedule. And then throughout this campus, the people are going to know that these young men are serious about their futures. Okay? Time flies, and time is a very important part of this program, and we're not going to waste it. We're going to be on time, and we're going to make the most of the time that we have. And I know there's a lot of proud people here. I feel that vision. I feel that energy. When you watch us play, when you hear them talk, when you come across them, you're going to be proud. And we owe it to these young people to pour into them. That's what I love about my job. And I couldn't be more excited to be here. We're going to do great things. You know, we're going to play really hard. We're going to play fast. We're going to be tough. We're going to recruit young men that you can be proud to go out and represent and be ambassadors of this institution. There's going to be no reason for anybody to think twice about giving full support to what's going on in this program. Let me just say this real quickly. For those of you who are married, you know how important it is to have a spouse that supports you. And I got the best. Now, you know, this thing happened really quick. And my wife, Dio, if you can stand up, Dio, because she is fine. Check her out. I'm not doing this without her and without her support. You know, I got a son who's going to be, he was a junior, will be a senior next year. A daughter who's just beautiful and such a star, who's a sophomore, is going to be a junior. This is not easy. These things are not easy. And you have to have the support of your family to do it. And I got a great team. For these young men, I just want to say this in front of everybody right now, because one of the things that bothers me when coaches go through this process is this idea about his recruits versus someone else's recruits, or these are his players versus your players. I think it's terrible. I think in the midst of all these coaching changes that you see taking place, the young people get lost in the mix, and people forget about them. And then the new coach comes in, and if things go well, he did it with their players, or if they don't go well, they blame the players. Here's the truth. We're going to have a way of doing things that's different, because I'm different. I'm better. They were well coached by very good people. That's what made it attractive to me. But we're going to have a way of doing things and a standard. And for the young men that buy in, those are our players. And the ones who don't, we're going to help them move on. But there isn't going to be this excuse or this idea that these guys, these are Georgia State players, and I'm the leader of the program and the coach, and we're in this together. Okay? I got a lot to learn about the city, about the university, and a lot of people to get to know. And I love everything that I've seen so far. Walking around this campus yesterday with my son and just seeing the progression that's taking place on this campus, it was so consistent with the message that I got from these guys when we met. There's nothing better than being on the same page when you're making a life decision that's going to affect your family, affect so many other people. We're going to be on the same page. Couldn't be more excited. I can't wait to meet everybody and get to know everybody. I wish I could do it. First time in my life I've ever had 800 text messages at the same time. There's a bunch of people who want to have a job at Georgia State, which says a lot about the institution. And I'm just really, my first order of business is to get to know these young people. I know this is just a stressful, anxious time, and I went through it as a player. You know, I signed with one coach, played for a different guy, he got fired, and then I had to play for another guy my senior year. So I sat in that chair. And so we're gonna put together a great staff of people, family men, hardworking guys that do things the right way, that are gonna pour into you the same way that me and my family will. We're gonna do that, we promise you that. And we're gonna have, our expectations are gonna be high, all right? We want you guys, listen, we're coming into a situation where winning is a part of the equation. There's a group of guys here that I don't have to convince them what it takes to win. All I have to do is get you to buy into the way we do. But since you're already winners, we're already halfway there, okay? So I just want to thank everybody for coming out. You know, this energy right here, again, is consistent with the energy that I got from these guys. There is something special here. And my colleagues, you know, I've been fortunate to have a lot of good relationships with a lot of people in our business. I love coaches. I do. I love coaches of all sports because I love people who are leaders. And I love people who care about young people. I love those people. So I like getting to know coaches. And the coaches in the profession, they know that there's something potentially special here. And you've already been winning. But there's something else out there for us. There is. And if you guys would trust us, we're going to go get it. Okay? But there's got to be some trust. And you're going to have to understand that you're going to be uncomfortable now. It's going to be different. Not better, but you're going to be uncomfortable. We're going to ask you to do some things that you haven't been asked to do before. Right? And we're going to demand it. And I think when you grab onto it, we're going to really, really do something special. I thank you for being here. Again, I look forward to getting to know everybody. Come talk to me. Don't feel like you're bothering me. Don't feel I am a little overwhelmed. Do it anyway. I want this to be my home. Okay? So I want to get to know everybody. I'm going to be bad with names at first, but we'll get it. I do know Maria. Is she here? So I think that's the most important thing, is to know who Maria is, and I got that down. So once from there, we'll be all right. Okay. So, thanks, guys.
Before we open up the questions, I'm going to actually take the prerogative of being the president and actually make some follow-up remarks, because there's something that Coach said to you early in his remarks that distinguished him in the interview process, and the very fact that he talked about it today distinguishes him again. Charlie and I had the opportunity to interview a bunch of really successful coaches, a bunch of really good people, a lot of interest in this program. We were sitting there with Coach Lanier, with Rob, and we're going through the interview, and there's a standard set of questions, and you know, Charlie in his comfortable way is we're going to have a conversation, we're going to ask some questions. And we're 15 minutes in. He talked about 15 minutes in. 15 minutes in, Coach Lanier says, okay, I got to know something. And basically just put the questions to Charlie and I about what we want out of this program. And we answered that question. He goes, okay, we can have this conversation. This can work, because he needed to know whether or not his vision and our vision aligned. And he was not shy about saying that. In 15 minutes in, he put that point to us. We answered his question. Here we are today. So, Coach, it's wonderful that you walk the walk. Terrific to have you here.
At this time, we'll take questions from members of the media. If you'd raise your hand.
Hello, Coach. Welcome to Georgia State. Anthony Patterson, reporter at the Atlanta Voice and the Georgia State Sentinel. My question is, you talked about pretty much learning about Georgia State and the program. Can you just talk about what you know about the Sun Belt, or the Fun Belt, as some would say, and what do you know that you need to be successful within the Sun Belt in particular?
Well, I got a lot to learn about the Sun Belt. I do know one fun fact is that Chris Ogden was once arrested by campus police for streaking on campus. I coached Chris at Texas for 2 years. I obviously know many of the coaches in the league. I know Bob Marlin, throughout the league. It's just, coaching is a small fraternity, so we know one another. I love the areas. Obviously Atlanta is unique to the league, and I think it's something that gives us an advantage. I think the common theme, and going back to what Dr. Becker was mentioning is that there's this narrative that this is one of, if not the best job in the league. And I don't want us to rest on that. If we are the best, then that doesn't necessarily mean that we are our best. And I think sometimes when you're comparing yourselves to other people, you put a ceiling on yourself that might not necessarily need to be there. And that was the discussion that we were having. What could we do? Not to separate ourselves from the league, but just to be our best. And it's the same thing, that's the same message we would have for the players. Are you doing your best, or are you just doing enough? And we don't want to get by. Do we really want to be great, right? But leagues in and of themselves are competitive. And so I don't expect that this would be any different. I do have a lot to learn, but I've been around, and I don't think I'll be surprised by anything.
Hey, Coach Lanier, Emmanuel Glaze from the Crush Sports Talk. It's been a while since you've been head coach at Siena, and now you're here at Georgia State. Why now, and why Georgia State for this to take that job again?
Yeah. You know what, going back to my earlier remarks of like, you know it when you see it, I didn't see this coming. I knew that there was something that I was looking for, and me and my agent, Will Reese, like when I became a head coach the first time, the landscape of the process to become a head coach was different. I interviewed for my first head coaching job when I was 28, and I interviewed for another one a week later. And at that time, my reputation as a future head coach was moving faster than my development as a head coach. But people thought I was a young guy on the rise, and I started getting opportunities. You know, I'm 18 years removed from that press conference, and I was comfortable with the fact that I was working for a great man. And what I should have done when I was up there was thank Rick Barnes and a number of other people that have contributed to my development and my career. Rick is an unbelievable man, someone that I truly love as a man, and I was in no hurry to leave because of my family. And then I met these guys, and the best way I could explain it is to say the kind of situation that would move me became apparent when I got down here, and so it's just an awesome opportunity. And you know, I can't wait to start to get to know these young men. We'll start doing some individual meetings tomorrow, and that excites me more than anything right now.
How you doing, Coach?
Great.
Daniel Richardson, for the Signal, you said that you knew Coach Hunter and Coach McCallum before you got the
Yes,
job.
sir.
Could you please describe that the
Well,
relationship?
first of all, Ray McCallum taught me a lesson in recruiting. And I've been dealing with this because my son is a Division I prospect. You know, Ray's son was a great player. We were recruiting him at University of Florida. And he said that he wasn't going to go and play for him, and that we had a great shot to get him, and then he went to play for him. So I learned that not to trust that nonsense. And then obviously, you know, when Ron was coaching in Indiana at IUPUI, he just always had an aura about him, you know, energetic, and just a great guy that everybody liked. Again, you know, the coaching profession is small. You know, Ray was a great player, and his son was a great player. I know Ray back from his days at Ball State. You know, Charlie mentioned Darryl LeBerry and Sharman White. I know all of those guys and got good relationships with them. So from afar, I've always had an impression that this was a great place because of my familiarity with the people that were here. But I had never really been through the campus, at least not on purpose. I didn't know what was going on downtown. So there was always this sense, though, that there was a great energy here and it was a good program. And that's been reinforced because every phone call and every text is like, that thing can be a giant, man. You know, all these guys. And one of the most analytical people in this profession is Rick Barnes. Very opinionated, but he's got a pretty strong and accurate opinion most of the time. And right away, his thing was, man, that's great for you. That city, that university, and his question was, well, If you think you can have a great relationship with that AD and that president, and you think you can finish your career there, then you've got to go do it. And that was our assessment.
Hey, Coach. Brady Weiler, ThursdayNet.com.
How you doing?
You kind of touched on it briefly in your opening remarks, but what are some of the tenets, hallmarks you're going to try and instill offensively and defensively with the program?
Defensively first. We'll be a man-to-man defensive team, and we're going to be good at it. And we're going to play 94 feet. It's not going to be, we're not going to have a nickname for it or anything like that. We just, if you're in the backcourt, we're going to be back there with you. That's all. And we're going to guard you all the way up the floor. And then when you get into the half court, we're going to be guarding you then. So we're going to do that. I know for sure. And then, offensively, we want to play full court motion offense. I don't want to be over controlling like I was as a young coach. I didn't want to prove that I know what I'm doing. I think I've grown a lot that way. But I want the ball to move. I want it to be driven. I want it to be shot. And I want to get to a point where we recruit enough size into the program that we're a little bit more traditional, so that when we go outside the league and play people and walk on the court, we look them eye to eye. I want us to look that way, and I want us to be that way. And that goes back to the mindset about the conference. I love the conference. I think it's a competitive league. But I do want us to think differently in terms of the way we personnel-wise, how we look. And I think we got good guards, so I'm excited about that. I think guards give you a great opportunity to win. And so I've really been excited about what I've been hearing there, and I look forward to getting in the gym with these guys.
Daniel again. You mentioned that your time at Siena, you were trying to prove that you were a young coach. Well, you were a young coach and you were trying to prove that you knew what you were doing. Could you, what was your biggest lesson that you learned during your time at Siena that you'll use now?
I don't know how long this press conference is supposed to go. But I think the further I get away from that experience, my reflection grows, And listen, when you start talking about being thankful, I say this all the time, so excuse me if this is redundant for anybody that's heard it from me before. But all of us in this room at some point or another have told young people that it's a 1 in a million chance to make it to the NBA, right? Well, there's more players in the NBA than there are Division I head coaches, okay? And the NBA is 85% African American. The head coaching industry is not in Division I. So there's only 353 or so Division I head coaches in the world. And these people are giving me a second chance to do it. So they're definitely going to get my best, right? Because I do have a clear perspective on the pool of opportunity that exists in this particular profession. And that's why these young men are going to get my best, because I know these opportunities don't come, especially great ones. And this is a great one, and I know it, and that's why I seized the opportunity when it presented itself.
Hey, this is Charlie Cobb. With the success of the Georgia State men's basketball program, what were you trying to get out of this hire for Rob Lanier? I mean, you got Rob Lanier. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, NCAA tournaments and all that. What were you looking for in this particular hire at this time?
Yeah, it moves fast, and to say that you got to walk through a process, but do it pretty quickly. Run but don't walk. I think is an understatement. We have a successful program, no question about it. And for me, it was really about putting myself in a caretaker role for these kids. With all due respect to everybody in the room, the guys that matter the most are sitting over there. And trying to figure out what's best to serve them, not only today, not only tomorrow, but also next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And as I mentioned, change is not easy. I mean, we all go through it, but one of the great values for me about athletics is this whole phrase of next play. Every coach screams next play, next play, next play. And So I was in that mindset of, okay, this is the next play. And who is that guy that can lead us, because we are here. And we have great aspiration to match what the university is trying to do under Dr. Becker's leadership, but we have transformational expectations and aspirations. And find that guy that can do this. And, you know, Mark and I talked about it afterwards, but we interviewed a lot of people pretty quickly. And that's the way this world works. And 15 minutes into the conversation with Rob, we both, not to ourselves, not together, said, this is the guy. And so, just like you've heard the conversation today.
Same thing happened with my wife.
Yeah.
15 minutes in.
Yeah, but I thought I was 3 years into the relationship, but it was one of those moments that, okay, now let's let the rest of this conversation go to see if it answers the questions that this initial thought. And honestly, we've had, I think, probably 4 or 5 other interactions in the last week that you guys don't know about. Yesterday, Emory and his dad were walking around, and we sat last night and talked for a while, and just genuinely impressed with their relationship, impressed with his relationship with his wife. And as a man, a character, I said, wow, this guy is who he says he is. And that was incredibly important.
Is Coach Anthony with the Atlanta Voice again?
You guys are dominating the questions.
But yes, my question pretty much is, of course, I know you're excited about the opportunity to be here, but if there's one thing while you're here that will help you sleep at night, what is that one goal that you definitely want to do while you're here at Georgia State?
Sleep. You serious? There is no one thing. You know, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, all right, we want to achieve this basketball goal. I want us to be great. You know, I think if I start naming programs, right? If I say the name of a program, if you guys follow college basketball or college football, and I name any program, then there's an aura that you attach to that. Yourself mentally, your impression. If I say Duke or Notre Dame, you think one thing. If I say another program, you think. What I want is when people hear Georgia State, that they think first class, winning, that they associate us in a way that's consistent with the vision that has been laid out to me of the institution. Not that the institution is going this way, the basketball program's going its own way, but we happen to be winning enough games to pacify the fan base. You know, and what I've found in my experience in college athletics, that true fans can compartmentalize some really important things if their team is winning. That's why I don't like talking politics. Everybody just wants their team to win, right? So my thing is I want people to not have to compartmentalize anything and be proud about everything we represent, starting with the quality and character of the young people that represent the program, and then the byproduct of the work that they put in the winning. But not just, all right, we want to reach this milestone or that milestone and beat our chest about that. We want to be good in every way that we can control. Emory, you got anything? Kai?
Thank you to everyone for coming.
Thanks, guys.